came to the city, New York City, because where they were going to college was near Canada. So it's about 6 hours south of where when they moved to New York City. And so I grew up in New York, and first in a place called Left City, Queens, which is sort of, if you've heard of, in New York, there's sort of two main hubs where Ghanaians live. It's the Bronx, and then there's Left City. We were in the smaller Ghana, Left City. And we lived there for some time, then we moved to Queens Village, and that's where I grew up. Until when I was about 12 years old, my parents told me and my sister and my brother that we were coming on vacation to Ghana. And so, we had come as kids, as like a baby, but I didn't really know much about Ghana. And then hello, how are you? Welcome. Yes. Thank you. And so we went on vacation, we came on vacation with my mom, my brother, my sister, and at the end of the trip, they it's a little bit of a convoluted story, but basically they tricked us into thinking it was a vacation and they left us here. So I ended up going to the Continental Girls. I lived there from home 3 to home 5. And my sister was Holy Child. And it was a really intense experience. Welcome, thank you so much for coming. First of all, I should back up by saying you guys are super dedicated because the World Cup final is on and you were here. Nobody's coming. If it wasn't that I was going to be here doing this, I would be watching this game. So thank you so much again for coming. So anyway, my time in Ghana at the time inspired this book, Outer Necklace. Outer Necklace is a fictionalized account of my experience coming to Ghana because, growing up in New York, all I knew about Ghana was what my parents told me. We grew up, eating food cake on food like red, all those things. My parents, speaking on the, phone, tree, fancy gown, all those things, but I felt very removed from being Ghanaian, partly because, I'm sure you all know America is a racist. There are lots of, racist things happening there. In the 80s in particular, the whole sort of, the culture of the 80s was, you assimilate. Everyone who is in the country should try to be like America, and being American meant being, white and white culture. So I didn't feel comfortable. I remember my mom, when she would be speaking, when my parents would be speaking fancy on the street, I'd be like, oh my gosh. Or, my name being, Ekua, oh my goodness. I remember one time she printed Christmas cards for me to give to my friends and have my full name, and I was mortified. I was like, Ekua, at least Nana, it could be like Nana, which I grew up as Nana. But Ekua, oh my goodness, how could I explain this? So so I grew up feeling, and then during the 80s, in the early 80s, the Ethiopian famine was a big thing. It was a big deal. And it was always on the news, always on the news. So in America, the only sort of idea that they had of Africa or Africans were these hungry children that, with the cultural claw, the flies all over them. So when you say you're from Africa, that's their thinking. And then you add on top of that, anytime we misbehave, my parents would say, if you keep on, we'll send you to Ghana. So it was like, this Ghana didn't seem like a place that I wanted to be from, and a place that I wanted to go. And so when, this whole thing of manipulation came and they sent us to Ghana and we were in school, initially I was really excited. I found it, wow, you come to Ghana and it's like a different world, suddenly, being Ekua, like people immediately get it, and there are millions of Ekuas around and that has even more, And so I felt, me being a dark-skinned girl in New York, it was just like, oh, you're pretty cool, dark-skinned girl. But here, it was just like, everyone is like, not everyone, but there's dark skin all around. So I just kind of felt affirmed. And then it was just also exciting, just being here, seeing like, wow, this place that seemed like, hungry children, here you come and you see like, okay, yeah, there are people who are suffering, but it's much more complicated than that. People are doing well, people own businesses. So it was really exciting. And even I remember when, I was getting ready to go to boarding school to Fatima. It was exciting, like, oh, they're making, my uniforms for me, and I'm super into fashion, so like getting clothes custom made, I was like, oh my goodness, so cool. And just all of it was exciting. And then my grandmother leaves me on this campus, and it was one of the scariest experiences. And, it was, talk about being bullied. I mean, these girls mercilessly bullied me. It was terrible. A lot of the stories are in that book, but, I'm sure you guys are in any way familiar with, the school system. Brony this, Brony that, Brony this, Brony that. Not to mention, I wasn't used to hand washing my clothes. I wasn't used to hand washing the things. I was known as the dirty girl. My sheets were never met inspection. I come back from, classes, my mattress has been tossed onto the compound because it's dirty. So it was just like over and over again. So I remember from my first year there, all I did was rising up. I was so depressed. I was really depressed actually, thinking about it, and I was like, that's what you were going through, you were depressed. It was really, really hard, and honestly, it was just prayer. So I knew I wanted to write about the experience, but my family, they're immigrants in America, they wanted me to focus on something that would earn money, for example. And it kind of blew my mind when she said that. She was like, if you're on social media and you're not doing it right, it's just taking your time and it's not doing anything. So just be off it and focus on your writing. I think at the end of the day, the story is what matters, and we're all developing, and you also have to understand that your story may not be bad, but someone just may not connect with it because they don't identify with it, they just don't like it, they like this genre versus that genre. And I think that that's why it's important to find the people who are your people. Because I hear you, about the the religious books and the daily manna and all of that. And that's definitely a big part of our culture here, right? But at the same time, there are people in this room, and as you were mentioning, there are people who want to, but they just don't know about it. And that's why I was saying to you earlier, Ellie, and then I was saying to you as well that it's so important that you guys are creating this community. And there's nothing stopping, it's hard to do, but there's nothing stopping you guys from having your book club that you're doing and expanding on that, because that's what it is at the end of the day. It's getting like-minded people together, and so that when your book comes out or your short story comes out, you guys are able to support one another, and then the network expands from there. I just finished watching part of a documentary on Steven Spielberg, the director, and he was saying in his youth, they were part of Oliver Stone, Brian De Palma, Steven Spielberg, and Martin Scorsese. They were all just friends. They were all and they would watch each other's films. They said they watched the first screening of Star Wars, and they laughed at Oliver Stone, like, this film, it's rubbish. You have to do, so they said, you have to anchor us in what the story is about, otherwise we don't know what's going on. And so they told him to do the text that begins the movie. And I was just like, wow. And then they were also saying that, I don't know if any of you have seen the movie Scarface, but Steven Spielberg was assisting Brian De Palma just in shooting it because he just wanted to help out his friend. And it's like things like that you see over and over again. You can't, I was saying, Aisha and I would just grab her, Aisha, look, I've told them that you're going to be on a panel with me. Okay. She too, she'll tell me, I've told them we're going to do this together. And it's like, we have to support one another because, that's how it starts. I think in general, people are not,
it's not, I don't think that it's that people aren't reading as much. I just think that, studies are showing that our attention spans are reducing. I think they said, was it 10 years ago, it was 12 seconds, and now it's like 8 seconds. And so, and a lot of that has to do with social media, and we're also multitasking, all the screens are open, and so, but I think that story is just the human condition. Like from time immemorial, people have been telling stories, and they tell it in so many different ways. And I think that one of the things that's challenging but also interesting or exciting for us as writers is to figure out how can we make our stories engaging in a time when there's attention spans are shortening. How can we use different media and platforms to tell our stories? Because there's also lots of things that are available. So something that I've been experimenting with are just Instagram stories, like actually writing a story as an Instagram story. And it's been interesting because you'll see the people who follow through the whole thing. Sometimes I'm like, oh my goodness, they were like 40, 50 slides of this. But it's just, I've been experimenting with things like that, and I think we should all just kind of try to experiment, because I don't think that people don't want to read. Like, people always want to see themselves reflected, their stories reflected, connect with other people's stories, but it's just a matter of, maybe I don't have a book in front of me now, but I do have my phone. I know that a lot of the telecom companies are actually trying to syndicate content. One of the things that I'm interested in sort of figuring out is how do we get, someone like an MTN to do a book series that's available on, if you're an MTN subscriber, for example. I mean, because people have their phones on them all the time. So I think that, I think it behooves us as writers to kind of be investigating that. But I take your point, Awo, about the fact that, some people just don't have that personality. Because I know I'm very shy and very introverted, actually. And I think that over time, I've gotten more out of my shell just because, you kind of have to. But I think one thing that a friend told me, she was saying to me that, what she learned as a writer is you don't have to be on social media, for example. And it kind of blew my mind when she said that. She was like,